KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're
the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Woo! Good morning. How is everybody?
Good morning, Houston.
I've had my coffee. I'm ready to go. Hi, how's it going? How y'all doing?
Well, Joe, before we start, I think you have an introduction with one of our guests here.
Well, we want to welcome everybody to this Saturday show. It's going to be a great show. We got a packed house of a lot of great people here. We're talking about What You Don't Know Can Hurt You Part 2. There's always so much information to share on this subject, and we get so much feedback on the website and everything and questions that we carry it over to a second show. So we've got Jason Jiminez here with the Jiminez Insurance Agency. We've got Legend Homes, some great folks from Legend Homes. Bill and crew from One Guard, going to talk about some of that. Karen White, a guest of One Guard. A whole host of wonderful people. But, you know, the Rat Pack, as crazy as we are, we always have a big heart for charities and charity organizations. So when we have the opportunity, we like to give them some time on the show to talk about that. And Jason, you're involved in a really, really cool and something that's a big subject out there right now, a really cool organization, Youth Aid. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them, man?
Absolutely. Well, Youth Aid is an anti-bullying program, and we are dedicated in delivering the message that every word, every touch, every action that you do towards somebody will affect their lives for the rest of their lives. And what we do is we work with elementary, junior high, and high schools in being able to put together rallies to engage students, inspire them to be active, and to create a bully-free environment. And within that, what we do is we've actually created a actual Safe Club, which is a club that in junior highs and high schools, students are able to create an environment where they can grow and change the culture within. And what ends up happening is that we actually work with them and be able to give them the skill sets to have to when they go to high school or they go to college, they can take those skills from being future leaders of America, how to raise money, how to raise awareness, how to basically cultivate a culture, and take that and go into college and use that for the resume. And within that, we actually are one of the only nonprofits in Texas that are certified by the Olveus Anti-Bully Prevention Group. It's a certification that probably 10 people in the United States actually have organizations, and we are also certified for anti-workplace bullying. And just recently, we just got awarded the capacity to award the medal for volunteering through the President of the United States. So as students volunteer, they actually can win a bronze, silver, or gold medal based on that, and they can take that again and use that for as they go into the workforce.
Wow.
That is awesome.
Very cool organization. I know this would be a shock to a lot of people as I was like 5 foot tall before I
thought you were still 5 foot
tall. I didn't break 5 foot tall until I was in high school. And shockingly, I know this is going to be hard for a lot of you to believe, I was very opinionated. So
I would never have thought that.
I got into fights all the time when I was a little kid. I got picked on quite a bit, and I didn't back down from all of it. I was willing to get beat up a lot. Is really all it boiled down to. I learned to be funny because I found out that if I was funny,
humor trumps all.
They tended to wanted to stop beating me up long enough to laugh. So, but I got into martial arts for that reason, and that was a big part of my life. Was why that became the case, because there was no bullying awareness type organizations back then. That would have been something I would have been involved in. YouthAid.com .org. .us. I'm sorry, I got all the dots wrong on that one. YouthAid.us. YouthAid.us. Go there, check out their organization. Very cool organization.
And in the studio with us today is our two people I had invited. I've been very excited. I've been trying to get them on the show for a long time. Is Brett Griggs and Suzy Smith. They are with Legend Princeton Homes. Please say good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Get right up on that microphone so they can hear you. So anyway, and in keeping with the theme of what you don't know can hurt you, and we kind of talked about this briefly in the in our staging area before we get into the show, is what are the things that when someone comes into your place that you start with to start kind of educating them as to what to look for when buying a new Legend home or Princeton homes?
I mean, it's not just a willy-nilly. They walk in and say, we don't want to buy a house today. We were driving around and it just kind of hit us.
No.
Do you have a process you educate the buyer on when they walk through the doors to try to help them avoid some of the pitfalls of the unexperienced buyer, that kind of thing, to get the home that would be a best fit for them.
Absolutely. And I think one of the main things that we try to promote when we're dealing with a prospect or a customer coming in the door is making sure that they're first in the right area. Is this the community that you're wanting to be in? Looking at school districts, things around job, businesses. But second, looking at the needs. What are your needs as a buyer? What are you looking for in a new home? Why are you wanting to move? And a lot of times, if we start down that path versus looking at just price point, then we'll find the right home for them.
Well, that's a unique approach, because I know a lot of times people will have something that they have a product or something that they want to kind of push to the consumer, but you're saying more like, we're going to do an analysis of what your needs are, we need school districts, and maybe questions. I know I always, when I do analysis, where do you work, where do you play?
Exactly. Type
of thing. So kind of address that when you have how many communities that you're working in right now?
Well, in our Legend communities, we've got 17 and currently have 12 Princeton communities. Okay. So quite a few throughout the city.
So if you got 29 communities and someone walks in one community and you start doing an analysis, you can say, you know what? You're a better fit for this community.
Absolutely. And we do an in-house referral, if you will, so that customer, not only are we going to take them to that other community, we're going to introduce them to the new salesperson that they weren't originally with, and make sure that, again, their needs are what's being focused on.
And kind of put yourself in the consumer's point. You walk into a new sales office and you might be a little intimidated. What are the things that people should be asking, or what should the sales counselor be saying to people who are about to buy?
Absolutely. The first thing needs to be, again, what are your needs? Why are you moving? Most of the time, we'll find a change of life. Maybe there's a change of life situation, either downsizing, upsizing. Maybe there's a new child in the home. Maybe one's leaving the nest. But starting with those questions, really, if you would, sitting down at a table, talking, communicating, and looking through what those needs are before we even look at a plan.
Yeah. Well, you've got a couple of competitors out there. And so when you're talking with people, I know that I've been to your places. I know that you don't, downplay a competitor, but you do put a distinctive spin, I guess it is, on what you do better, or what type of things that you put
Absolutely.
in your home. So kind of talk about those items.
We encourage folks to sit down, take the information they maybe have obtained from other builders, and we'll look at that with them. Matter of fact, we do something in our communities which is called a third-party book. And that book actually has what we do lined out, graphed out for the consumer, for the buyer, to look at, noting those differences. Some of the big ones: washer and dryer, refrigerator, blinds. People don't think about that all the time when they're moving into a new home, but yet we're going to sit down with you and show you, hey, with us, it's included. So you're going to have that in your home. You're not going to think about that. I guess one of the biggest things that we offer and provide is on the closing cost side of things. That out-of-pocket money that you're going to need to actually get the keys to your new home, we're going to provide that for you, up to the 4% that's allowed.
That'd be a good example of one of the what you don't knows can hurt you. If you have to drop a grand on a new washer dryer after closing, because
you haven't bought one in a while, have you?
You
can drop more than
yeah.
Way underestimated right there.
Yeah, well, you can tell who buys those in the household. So,
but you're absolutely right.
A grand apiece.
Yeah, there you go.
Folks come in, and once you look at that, and we'll say, if we don't provide something, we're going to tell you that we don't. But you'll be hard pressed to find something we don't. And it is amazing how many people think, wow, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about a fridge. I didn't think about closing cost. I didn't think about all that. So you're absolutely right.
Well, I've recently put new blinds in the entire house, so I know what those can cost.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when people are very energy conscious, we actually had some people talking about energy. We had the Reliant on the air not too long ago. Talk about the kind of energy efficiency items that you use in the home, the R factors and things like that, and then what it means also.
Absolutely. And, we are Environments for Living, so it's an accelerated program. Go by the HERS rating system. Each one of our homes is got that HERS rating on it, and the efficiency ratings in our homes exceed the building requirements, building codes. So we also go through that for each particular plan. So each home has that high efficiency rating. Again, it's going to be Environments for Living. and it's lined out. It's a gold series and a gold standard in energy efficiency. And basically, that HERS rating is going to tell us, how much of the energy in our homes are we actually using and how much is escaping. Is it going out the attic? Is it going out the front doors? That kind of thing. And that analysis is quite eye-opening for a lot of people.
Well, we like the hot air to be escaping out of the attic and things like that.
Yes.
So when you are talking about, and of course I think most people are now familiar with R factor stuff, what should someone look for in like energy efficiency and R factors in the walls and the ceilings and things like that?
Well, and again, we've got all of that lined out for them in each of our standard features. In some of our communities it varies specifically, but those R values are going to be, again, what is that radiant barrier providing for you as far as containing your air conditioning, your heating, those type of things throughout the home. It's going to vary per community, but we do have that specified. But basically what that's telling you is, again, how much of your home is insulated, keeping heat in and out or cool in throughout the different seasons.
Have you ever had anybody come back and say, I'm so glad I bought this house, you can't believe it, my electric bills compared to my old home was?
Absolutely, and actually, we actually do that as well. We actually, in these books, will go through what the vinyl windows, what the Tech Shield, what the R values actually are providing for the home versus a home that was even built maybe 10, 15 years ago. So lining that out, again, is another eye-opening thing, and ask for that when you go out. Ask to see that number.
That, and always trying to touch on the subject of the show. This is a hot button for me right now because at our house right now, with the heat being what it's been, our house, we talked about this last week. We had the energy show, and not last week, 2 weeks ago.
Time flies.
Time flies, yes. But it gets to 80 degrees in my house, and that's as cool as it's going to get. And it was built in the early 90s, and had single pane, horrible windows and all this sort of thing. And even with a newer unit, a 6-year-old AC unit, it still gets to 80 degrees in the house, and it's frustrating.
Right.
So that's one of those things where you're out when you're buying resale versus buying new, that if you're unaware of, you really haven't gotten versed on, can hurt you.
It can.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And Kim, we are still working on him buying you a new house.
I've got like a full court press going on here. We've got builders coming on the show, and every week it's, Joe, you really need to sell your house.
Well, we're here for you. I tell you what, we'll take care of you.
Yes.
But it is interesting, just on that note, how and we try to educate folks too as well on how to utilize the tools they have at hand. The digital programmable thermostats, making sure that they're using and programming those, all of those, because you're right. When it gets up into the hundreds around here, you need to make sure you're doing everything right. You've got everything programmed, cooling it down early so it'll stay and retain in the home.
So, and of course, going back to what John said, keeping to the theme of the show is what you don't know can hurt you. What are the things that people are like surprised about that they didn't even think about asking about that you all do for them?
I think that a lot of folks are surprised about how tight the construction is on our homes. When you start talking about what the foundations are poured to, what the framework of the home is actually built to, a lot of industry standards are what we would call 24 on center. So your 2x4s are 24 inches apart. We build all of our homes at 16 inches.
Wow.
So it's an eye-opening factor to folks to see just how sturdy the walls are in the home. Same thing with the plumbing. If you do, in some communities we do the PEX system. Some of them we do Flow Gold. It's just interesting to see where people are, especially if they have not bought a home in a long time.
Yeah, talk about the PEX system. Tell me what that is.
Well, basically yes.
Oh, I was just saying.
Oh,
I
thought we had a question in the field. But the PEX system allows you to go in and put your plumbing in the walls. It's a good system. It's indicated with your your red and your blue, obviously hot and cold. And there's none of the fittings or the lead or the welding going on inside the walls of your home. Your water's not passing through any kind of metals that could harm you. But basically that PEX system too, if you elect, you can put a manifold on the home and be able to turn the water off and on at that location, one location for the whole house. So you're not having to run upstairs to the secondary toilet. When it's overflowing, you can go to the garage and turn it off real quick and then go up and deal with it.
Now, are things like tankless water heaters and stuff available in your homes as an option?
They are available as an option. There's still numbers to be looked at, but they are available as well as foam insulation is available.
Wow, we are up against a break. Every
Time
time
flies.
we've got to jump out to some commercials. We're going to be right back after this, guys. Give us a call, 800-808-5548, if you have some questions for the awesome experts we have in the studio, and we'll be right back.
I'm in love.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Show.
It's a party in the studio
We do
today.
have a party going on in the studio.
And I love it. I love whenever you wake up in the morning, you come down to the studio. We have like 50 people in the studio. I mean,
Yes.
we just need to start making this like a standard Real Estate Rat Pack breakfast or
We're going to
something.
change the theme. We're going to have to get some like club music going, you know.
Or
Club Rat Pack.
or not.
I think that's a great idea. What do you think, Rob? Come on.
Oh my!
Club Rat Pack in the house right there. Well, you know, one of the things that we always like to do, we always like to bring incredible guests in the studio. Obviously, we had Legend and Princeton Classic Homes right here, but we also have one of our great sponsors in the studio right now, which is One Guard Home Warranty. You know, and they're always a great source for some great jokes also along the way. You know, I mean, whether it's talking about divorce and the pest control.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't cover ex-husbands.
Dear to my heart, that pest control, you know that.
Absolutely. Well, we have Bill and Natasha. Bill, Natasha, how y'all doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. You're talking about things that can hurt you. I'll tell you what, I itemized 3 things that can hurt you, and that's number 1, surprising a mama grizzly with her cubs. Number 2, being within 3 feet of a coral rattlesnake. And the third one is not knowing about One Guard Home Warranties. That can hurt you, seriously.
Being openly conservative before tax season.
Well, I'll tell you. When Natasha and I do presentations,
Couldn't let that one go.
all right.
Wow.
But I'll tell
Everybody
you,
loves the IRS.
when we do presentations or we're out and about in
Please
the
don't lie
field,
to me.
sometimes we see people and we'll say, "Hey, have you heard of One Guard Home Warranties?" Once in a while, people say, "Oh no, we've not heard of you." So the first thing I think about is, have I done my job properly in spreading the word? And you know, some companies even go on the radio and talk about their home warranties, right, Natasha?
No.
That never happens.
Realize that, Bill.
But
Craziness.
but we do our best to get the word out. There's no question. And in most of the real estate offices, unless we've missed one, please let us know. We have our brochures there. But it also tells me that some of the realtors do not look at the brochures. Mm-hmm. They don't stay up to speed with what's going on in home warranties. So we think it's important to do that. And if they do, and they read what's offered in the various plans, we've got an abundant offering.
And there's 2 things. Number 1 is you have a very special guest you brought in the studio with you today, didn't you?
That is correct. We actually brought a realtor that has talked to her clients about One Guard, and that's Miss Karen White.
I'm seeing
here.
a connection here, Bill.
This is Karen
the
White,
beautiful
with
Karen
Keller
White.
Williams Metropolitan. How you doing today, Karen?
Just great, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad that you came by. Now, I don't know if you know this, Karen. Actually, I think over a year or so ago, it'd have to be a year because the policy had been renewed. But one of the first people you told about One Guard actually got the One Guard policy, used it several times, but also just lately renewed it. I don't know if you know about that one of the first homes.
Well, I tend to look at results, and my clients have been very happy. I've had nothing but good response, and Bill has always been there to follow up. We recently had one with a refrigerator in Royal Oaks that the refrigerator broke down 2 months after they purchased the home. And I do not know of a warranty company that covers this much money, but they will cover up to $5,000 on their policy, which we should all be reading. And so
Thanks,
this
Karen.
particular, it was an older refrigerator. They were given a check for $2,600 to cover their refrigerator. I do not know of a policy elsewhere that covers that much. They were very happy, and they are planning to renew.
And that's true. One of the things to think about and know, and realtors, title companies, and home buyers alike, first of all, read the plan. Know that all home warranties aren't the same. Read those brochures and read the contract. What Karen's mentioning about our refrigerator coverage is that most companies stop at $2,500 for repair or replacing a refrigerator. One Guard goes up to $5,000. There's even companies that only go up to $1,000 or $1,500.
right, Natasha? Right. So we don't think that's enough, as the guys mentioned earlier about the price of appliance. We don't think $2,500 is enough to cover a refrigerator. So,
but if you're speaking with Joe, it might be though, right?
Well, that's.
I heard that comment earlier, Joe.
We'll be talking to Joe about the warranty too.
Well, this warranty was a $549 policy. Not only did they cover $2,600 on the refrigerator, but then right after that, their air conditioning compressor went down,
wow.
and their air conditioning condenser, I believe, you covered $1,500 or $1,600 on that. This was all within the first couple of months of owning this beautiful home in Royal Oaks.
Boy, I hope that doesn't happen to everybody. We'd be out of business, huh? That's $549. Let me do the math. By the way,
volumes to how OneGuard operates, and that's important, and that's what we want for you guys as the customer, the buyer, the seller, the realtor, the title company. We want everyone to understand that that's what OneGuard has to offer.
Well, Bill, it's something that I want to point out. You brought in a realtor today who's an expert in her field.
That's
the Rat Pack is always known for having experts on the show, and it's a perfect coupling here to bring in and represent your product, because that's where most people will find out about it. And so there's another aspect of working with a professional, working with an expert, because if the realtor isn't up on home warranties and they're not informed and they're not really involved with a pro on that side, they don't mention that, they don't provide that outlet, then people don't know about it. They're unaware. And boy, can it cost you. I had the exact same experience with the first house I bought. 2 months in, our AC went out. Wow. Exact same thing. Had I not had a home warranty, I would have been in big trouble, because there was no way financially, after we just moved and had all the down payment and everything else, that I could have afforded to put in a whole new unit. So it's a big deal.
Absolutely. And the other thing, I think it's a great subject to talk about right now is you don't have to be buying or selling a home to get a home warranty. You can, if you're out there listening right now, you can own properties that you rent out. You can have your own home as your primary residency. You can be a realtor who is actually out there and selling property. You can get a home warranty. And here's another thing. We have a new home sales in the house right now. You can get a home warranty off a new home that you just got through purchasing, and that's an interesting program.
Absolutely, it's a super program and it's overlooked sometimes because people think that I've got the builder's warranty, and while those are great warranties and cover a lot of things, you may want extra coverage like on your appliance. For example, we have, and I'll be brief, and certainly call us and we can talk in detail, but our new home warranty covers year number 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's 4 extra years of coverage on things like the AC system, appliances, refrigerator, washer, dryer. But not only does it cover those things, those 4 years of the coverage, for example, our most expensive one is $769. If you do the math by 4 years, that's $192 per year, and the home could be $100,000 or $20 million. It doesn't matter. It's money well spent, and these prices are for 5,000 square feet or less. It's well spent, but not only does it cover things to be repaired, but it offers our convenience features. And we have convenience features. Something doesn't have to break for the warranty to be of value. Does it, Natasha?
No, it doesn't. And speaking of a new home, I'll be very brief here. With that warranty, you also get those convenience features. For example, if you want to do lawn fertilization, it's 100 degrees out now. Who wants to go to Home Depot and go and spread fertilizer when 100 degrees when you can call someone out and pay $59 and it's done?
Well, we can call our
I don't want to be outside.
I'll call Joe.
I don't want to be outside, let alone moving around doing work-related things.
I want to be in Joe's 80-degree house.
Yeah.
So
yes.
with those convenience features, even though you have a new home, theoretically you still need convenience features to come along with it. And how nice is it from years 2 to 5 to have those offerings? If you want to do weed kill, if you want to do your AC and heating preseason tune-ups each year. We all need tune-ups on our vehicles, so now we'll do them on your AC and your heating systems in the spring and in the fall. Those are nice features to have because you're still going to be covered by your new buyer, your new home warranty that first year, and let's kick in years 2 through 5. So please keep that in mind also.
Now, Natasha, I noticed you didn't say anything about pest control. One of the things
that
dear to my heart.
Yes, so I have to let Bill take over with that.
And quite seriously, this is an example of what you don't know can hurt you. Sometimes on our brochure we have pricing and then we have the scope of coverage. Every home warranty has that. That's what you should read because all things are not covered. But Some companies will say things like, we have pest control, and then when you read their scope of coverage, it's very narrow. For example, most companies say for termite protection, $75 inspection fee. If the termites are found, it's $200 to treat the termites. With one guard, it's $59 to inspect and to treat the termite. But in addition to that, we cover an abundance of pests. That's right. Common pests, spiders, roaches, centipedes, millipedes.
Ex-spouses.
We do not cover, Rob, no, we do not cover
Pest, Bill.
we do not cover ex-spouses, ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, IRS agents,
While
or
they
any
are
of that.
common.
Yes.
While they are
Exactly.
covered.
And the language, we're very specific.
We're very specific,
Yes, very
but,
clear.
but we totally offer more there, and we even cover mice, but we do not cover rats out of respect to the Rat Pack. You know that. And one other wood-destroying insect, and that's the carpenter ant.
Huh?
We take care of that too. Nobody else does.
And we don't
$59.
We don't cover German cockroaches either.
Okay, that's right. There is an exclusion on that German cockroach.
Karen,
I can't believe y'all discriminate against the Germans. Come
Yeah,
on.
really? What is that about?
Cockroach, Joe.
Now, Karen, you deal a lot in very high-end properties and stuff, and these people are going to be, third, fourth, fifth time home buyers and stuff like that. Now, how do you counsel them when they realize that when they're out looking and they're maybe buying a resale home and things like that about using a warranty or what to look for in conditions and things like that? You kind of give us a little brief description of what that looks like.
In fact, that topic just came up. I'm with Keller Williams Metropolitan. We are right in the Galleria area, and we do serve the metropolitan area in Houston.
Cheap plug.
Hey, it is the right answer. But anyway, we do. I just was at an inspection and counseling the buyer because the home was in impeccable condition. It just looked great. And he was like, well, we don't need to worry about that. And I said, you absolutely do. You have a built-in refrigerator. And it was Sub-Zero, and most of the warranty companies do not cover the Sub-Zero. Mm-hmm. And so in this particular case, I just told him the exact example I gave previously, but in the case of a built-in, they do cover up to $5,000, and as most of us know, it's quite expensive to repair a built-in refrigerator.
Karen, we're coming up against a break. I want to make sure folks know how to get a hold of you. Tell us how to reach you.
Oh, please do call me. I'm happy to help. Karen White, 713-240-0727.
Outstanding. Well, once again, time has flown by. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to be right back after a word from our sponsors.
You're lovely. You know what? You're so lovely. And oh, what you do to me.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And Club Rat Pack is in the house, let me tell you. We've had a great show so far. It's like always, the show goes by really fast. First 30 minutes in the books already. And, we have a guest coming up and a sponsor coming up. And before we introduce Jason Jiminez from Jason Jiminez Insurance Agency, let me tell you, I use them. I called up Jason Jiminez about 2 weeks ago, said, man, I need you to help me out. I need to get some insurance. And let me tell you, he doesn't even know I'm saying this. This was absolutely incredible service. Not only was the pricing the best pricing I could find out there, and I commend you on that, by the way, but also the service that his group gave me. The individuals who called me up, who followed up, who got me the information. I was actually on vacation. I was actually doing this remotely from Disney World, if I'm not mistaken, and absolutely incredible. So, Jason, before we bring you out, I just want to say thank you very much, number one. And then number two is let everybody know a little bit of who you are.
Yeah. Well, my name is Jason Jiminez. I've actually been in business technically since I was born. My father started the insurance agency since he was 32 years ago, right? So
Wow.
I started him when I was 15, and I opened up my agency at 21. I've been doing business for 14 years now. And within that, I've been very privileged to be able to serve the community and be able to provide with what I say is I protect what's really important to any human being. Their shelter, their transportation, their life, and if they own a business, I protect that as well.
And I'll tell you, one of the things that that we do a lot here within the Rat Pack is we try, and we all do this. We all utilize each other. We all do business with each other.
Yes.
We all hang out with each other in a personal relationship. And so the great thing, it's always good, is to be able to talk to somebody, talk about a sponsor and a friend, and know the service that you provide because we're actually using it. And let me tell you, if anyone is out there right now, and Jason, you might want to talk about this as well, is it's important to always every year evaluate where you stand, and that's something that you allow your clients to do, to come with you for you to evaluate where they stand, and do a little assessment on where their policies are, and that goes from auto, from home, from any type of policy they actually have.
Well, let me puff up his ego some more.
Yeah.
He will have to get the door removed so he can get out after his head swells. We over at Improve My Credit USA, we've been working with Jason for a while now. We have a business-to-business relationship with each other, and he's someone that we recommend to our clients. He does a fantastic job. His team is super knowledgeable, and again, like you said, we're friends. We were out at a networking event, and I was hanging out with his folks. I was trying to replace Jason with his much better-looking counterpart at the company.
It can happen. It can happen.
She said she was coming, but apparently, he must have arm wrestled her out or something. I don't know. But anyway, a fantastic company that we refer to as well from our business. Everybody, again, I always want to reiterate this: the Rat Pack brings on experts. We have a good time here. We're silly. We cut up, all that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we work with and we refer to experts in the industry. And this guy, he doesn't talk about it, but he's in the top 1% of the nation in his field. So, he needs the shameless plugs for him every now and then because he's a pretty humble guy.
He really is. Not only is he a humble guy, but he also participates a lot in activities such as what we talked about at the top of the hour, the anti-bullying, for example. And that's very important. It's good. We tell everybody all the time to get back out and to give back to the community.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we're all working within the community. It's very easy to always take. But let me tell you, it's always worth the extra effort to give back, which is something that Jason does a lot.
Those are the kind of people we want to work with.
And one of the things that we were talking about before the show was that a lot of people are finding out their insurance rates are going up or their coverage is going down, one of the two. Why don't you kind of address what's happening right out there and what you're doing to help people kind of either avoid or be aware of what's going on?
Yeah, it's something, it's incredible. I mean, I've said it before. You're not the same person you were a year ago. Something changed, and Brett earlier adjusted to that, and it's valid. And then within that, we as an insurance company can't help you if we don't know where you stand. So as a standard in our office, we actually visit with our clients on once a year to reevaluate where they are. And if they really don't want to, we may not be the best agency for them because then I can't ever be able to defend you. Right. Because at the end of the day, when there's a claim, that's really when we have the opportunity to shine. That's the opportunity when we really have to show our true colors. And so within that, nowadays, the weather's not the same. Summer's is not summer anymore. Winter's not winter, just the way it used to be. It's changed. Knowing that the insurance companies within the last several years, ever since Hurricane Ike, have received billions and billions of dollars of losses that they have to recuperate in some aspects. And they're also spending billions of dollars of actually projecting what could happen in the next couple of years. In weather-related, we're in hurricane season. We're in the heart of hurricane season right now. Rates right now on every carrier out there are increasing between 10 to 15 to 25. I've seen it up to 35%. One day you're at $2,000 premium. Now you're at a $4,000 premium for a year for home insurance. And at the end of the day, you have to be educated on not only what's being covered, if your actual discounts have dropped off. In addition to that, what are the other advantages and that you could take up from that? Well, one of them could be is the fact that you could be going and say, look, I only have my home. You may want to include and bundle up your auto, your life insurance, things of that nature, because all of that in today's market with certain carriers, you have the capacity of bundling those discounts to really benefiting you. And that would be the heart, is just really just understanding what it is you have and go from there.
How is it that you're better to serve people with different types of insurance? I mean, how many lines are you writing for?
We are a full-fledged brokerage firm from the capacity that we are commercial, workers' comp, medical benefits, and we do property and casualty, so auto and home. We don't do financial services, so I will never tell you where to put your money. But I will make sure we protect whatever it is that you do put your money into. So,
well, and I'll give you an example. This is how working with a professional makes a difference. What you don't know can hurt you, right? The average insurance agency will never consult or counsel with you on credit issues. And you're like, what's that got to do with credit repair? And how do we have a business-to-business relationship? How does Jason refer to me? What's that got to do with anything as a credit repair company? Because credit is a factor in insurance.
That is correct.
So as part of being a forward-looking company, one of the things that his team is looking for, and my team actually went to his office, spent 2 days there working with them and training them on credit side to be aware and how to educate their clients. That's how forward-thinking this guy is with his team in making sure that he's providing the best counsel for his clients, because one of those factors that can radically increase your cost of insurance, and if somebody doesn't tell you, you don't know, and you don't know what can hurt you. That's the point of the topic today.
That'd be a good thing for a show, wouldn't
We
it?
should do that. We should look into that.
It's so true. I mean, the major carriers out there, I mean, that's talking to the Farmers, Nationwide, State Farm, all the major carriers out there, the top 4 or 5, they are credit-driven. And they're basically looking at it from a capacity. If you technically have a good credit, it's an indicative that you'll pay your insurance. And you'll actually take care of the things that you have, that you own. And quite frankly, when you do a mortgage, that's typically one of the stipulations. You got to take care of your property, right?
That is
so
correct.
within that, it's all correlated. So they're looking at habits and whatnot. So technically, the higher the credit score is, the more discounts you have the capacity of getting. The lower your credit score is, you can get actually surcharges for that. So it's awareness.
And it's really frustrating. You know, and the whole reason why my industry exists is because some people have this concept of credit repair being we're just running around deleting all the bad stuff out there and fixing people's credit. Well, that is not how it works.
Right.
70% of the information, on average, that's our statistics, 70% of the negative information that's reported on someone's credit is reported inaccurately, it's unverifiable, or outside of the time frames that they're allowed to report. We have a big problem on our credit industry, right? Big problem. That's why I exist. I want to make sure that when they go to Jason and get an insurance quote, they're getting an accurate quote, a quote that actually represents who they are from a credit perspective. Same for you, Chris, as a lender. So it's frustrating, and if the person doesn't know, it impacts them financially. It impacts their bottom line. And maybe they only have 1 item or 2 items that are dinging them on their credit. They have good enough credit to get approved everywhere, so they don't think about it. They get an insurance quote. They get a high premium. They don't know why. It's just the cost that they get. A lot of different agencies are pulling from the same places to get these quotes, so that's just the price I pay.
Yeah, and that goes across the world. I mean, across a lot of, not only personal, but you also do business insurance.
We do.
And so business now, small businesses are impacted by that as well.
Absolutely. And then you think about it, being a business owner, for example. I have employees which have families, which have kids. And if a business goes down and there's a disarray, and whether it be a claim related or they get theft or something like that, it will affect everyone. And if you as a business owner can't afford to be able to be operational, you have lives that depend on you. So again, our job is to make sure we educate. And within that, we consider ourselves much more than just an insurance agent. At the end of the day, insurance agency, there's a dime a dozen. In my building, I have 4 insurance brokerage firms in our building. Nobody knows we're in the office. I mean, we're there in a building. We actually make the phones ring. And within that, it just basically says, okay, what do we do to differentiate ourselves? And I sell myself, or I sell the agency, as being much more than just an insurance agent. That is why we've partnered up with Improve My Credit USA. That's why we've partnered up with like either O'Connor and O'Connor, because of the fact that, you know, a lot of people don't dispute their property taxes. And yet, it's money they can put back in their pocket that we can offset to be able to buy, for example, a life insurance policy that could basically go to a burial, $50 a month. But if I'm able to put the money back in their pocket and reallocate the way they spend their money, they're able to protect themselves more and have a peace of mind.
I would absolutely agree. And as you mentioned right there, you know, it's that thinking outside the box. It's doing things that are truly beneficial to the client, not just what's beneficial to you.
Right.
And you're always going to have the best business model when you think about something like that.
Absolutely. I'm beginning to think that we're the Angie's List of the real estate industry.
That's right.
Well, you know, we filter all the people out, you know. I mean, when you think about it, we between this group here, we literally know thousands upon thousands of people, and the real estate Rat Pack friends, the friends of the pack, it's an exclusive group.
We're the Jork list: Joe, Rob, and Chris.
Yeah. The thing I like about Jason, he does think globally, and I think that I don't know if I've ever had an insurance agent think that globally. It's like, you know, you're looking at other areas of their lives and where they're spending money and how to reallocate that. I think that's very unique in your business.
Brilliant.
I've not seen it prior to this.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And so we kind of heading toward the break here, aren't we?
Well, almost. But, you know, one of the things, and I always want to try to do this one more time, you know, Jason, let us know again about the anti-bullying event that's coming up on July 25th, I think you said.
Absolutely. July 25th, we're having a volunteer appreciation / State of the Union, if you will, for Youth Aid. We're basically letting the community know exactly where we are, what we've accomplished within the last 12 months, and what our mission is within the next 24 to 48 months. And so we're having it at Dave & Buster's off of Katy Freeway, and it's from 7 to 10 p.m., and we invite anybody out. Please email us. You can go to youthaid.us to get information about the organization. You can also email me directly at jason@youthaid.us, and we'll basically get you all the information you need. And we are always actively looking for volunteers. We're actively looking for real-life stories of what's happening in the community and how to get involved in the school districts.
Jason, well, thank you very much. Again, that is our anti-bullying. Go out there, take a look at that. You can get all this information also on the Real Estate Rat Pack's website, or go to our Facebook site, look it up, like us, look at all the content we have out there. We have to go on a break right now. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
We are back. Well, we're talking with Jason Jiminez about insurance, and one of the things that Suzy Smith from Legend Princeton Classic talked about is that, Jason, talk about we've got a hurricane in the Gulf. What happens with insurance? That's a hypothetical.
Yeah, no, it's, I can tell you, today's world, you have to understand that if you have a hurricane, you have to understand that when you have a claim, typically an adjuster or a restoration company is going to come out. And the first thing they'll tell you is, well, go find a place to stay if you don't have a relative to move into. Well, what happens when you have a section of your policy that says loss of use? And basically what it'll do is if you incur any costs because you can't live in your property, then what will end up happening is they'll allocate a certain amount of money, but it is on a reimbursement basis. Unless there's a tragic, catastrophic scenario like a hurricane hitting, then they'll do some upfront, dispense of money. Well, I say no. Don't do that. I say go call your realtor who will actually help you sell your house. Get them to find you an apartment or a home that's fully furnished that you could actually spend maybe $600 to maybe $1,000 per month rather than $100 per day. Times that by 5 days. That's already $500. You will bleed through money, not including with room service, not including with everything else that you incur by living in a hotel. So that's one thing that we always recommend. We communicate back with the people who actually refer business back to our office.
Let's talk about prior to the closing. We've had this happen all the time. As we got closings coming up. Suzy and Brett, I'm sure you probably experienced this. All of a sudden, something dips down into the Gulf, goes past Florida, and we don't know where it's going.
You know what?
What happens?
There's an imaginary line between Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. And quite frankly, it's kind of like I'm the president a little bit because of the fact that I'll get these like emails, phone calls, and beepers, and you name it. I get notifications from carriers that will automatically stop binding authority. It does not matter if you're in the process of signing or you're about to go to the title company. The moment that the companies refuse binding, I can't insure it. If you go and do on the closing and there's a hurricane in the Gulf, and basically you're at a position to where you're now responsible for the home without insurance. So you basically want to make sure you stay in communication, whether it be you're the realtor or you're the buyer or the seller. You want to stay informed.
So that's interesting. And of course, on the break also, we talked to Brett, and this is a great segue into some of the things we're talking about. And, we're talking about putting a one-guard policy on it, but you have an existing warranty on your homes, and you have basically a 10-year warranty on the structure and something and about a year on the appliances. Talk about that a little bit, Brett.
Well, we do. We have a 1-year warranty, which is going to cover that first initial year you're in the home, your wiring, your fixtures, those type of things. You have a 2-year on your appliances, which will also roll over then into the manufacturer warranty. And then you have a 10-year on your roof, your structure, your foundation, and your frame. But all of those are lined out for the consumer in a pretty intricate Home in Texas warranty book that we have.
Yeah, and there's one thing I want to talk about OneGuard. Of course, I think OneGuard is probably the best policy on the planet. I haven't seen anything to beat it yet.
Oh.
Well,
read the brochures.
Let
me tell you.
Throwing down the challenge. Just throwing down the challenge. But
that part will be edited out.
Yes, the one thing that you don't cover structure, and that's something I always have to explain to consumers. It's not a structural thing, but it covers the MEP, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
Absolutely. That's why we say, just like Jason's insurance policy, always read the brochure because some things are covered. And one of the big myths, people go, "Oh, I got a home warranty," whether it's from the builder or OneGuard or both. everything's covered. Everything's never covered, just like insurance. You have to read the scope of coverage, and that's why we think we're the best, because we add more coverage. Believe us when you read the brochure. I got to say something about Jason's comment. When he said summer's not summer and winter's not winter, to me that sounds like the basics of a Rat Pack song that hasn't yet happened. I'm just saying, winter's not winter, but it will be.
It's pandemonium, folks.
All right.
And Brett, you were saying something on the break also about we could have a lot of fun with this. He's got a 9-step program. I don't know if this is recover from home building or not, but you've got a
Hi, my name is Joe.
Program.
And
First, admit your
Joe, we're
powerless
here
over
to help you
construction.
as a new home buyer. Really, there's 9 steps that when you walk into our offices, our sales professionals, Legend and Princeton Homes, we're going to be there for you. First and foremost, we're going to make sure that you got your finances in order. That's going to be the first thing. Go in, make sure we're going to get you with our preferred lender and review those things. Once you have those done, step 2 would be do your homework. Know, again, where you want to live. Look at the community, look at your commute, the schools, the churches, the shopping, those type of things. Pick your neighborhood. The third thing is to make a prioritized wish list. Go in, we're going to work with you, we're going to sit down, we're going to look at your needs, we're going to go through those things, the covered patios, fireplaces, making sure that 1, they're in the budget, and 2, they're prioritized to your needs. The fourth thing is, again, find the right home. Find the right home that meets your needs. Number 5 is going to be consider looking at an inventory home. If you're looking at a home out there, one that's already on the ground that does meet all your needs and that has things that you need and want in a home, you can buy that home and close on it rather quickly and don't have the fear of delays, hurricanes, things like that, shortchanging and kind of changing your path, if you will. Number 6, don't wait. If you see a home you like, you find a home with a home builder in a community that you want, especially now, buy it. Go in there, get your ducks in a row, and buy the home. Claim it.
in this market, you don't want to blink.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think, Karen, you'd probably agree with this, that inventory is probably one of our biggest issues right now.
Oh, multiple offers on properties right now. You really need to know what you're doing. What you don't know can hurt you.
Absolutely. And we're going to be there to make sure that you do know what you're doing. Watch your spending. When you're under contract with a new home, don't go out and buy a new car or any other big purchases. Maintain that level of income so that we can close and get you the keys in your hands. Number 8, we're going to plan your move. We're going to work with you through the steps. We're going to work with you on coordinating and planning that closing. Nothing is more frustrating than loading up a moving truck, getting in front of your new home, and having to have it sit there for 2 or 3 days before you can move in. And last but not least, have fun. Have fun with the process. If you're not having fun,
Yes. Celebrate.
have fun, celebrate. And if you do those 9 things, the 10th thing, you're going to rank your experience, your new home. You're always going to pull up to the right home, and you're going to rank it a 10.
And Chris, I got to talk about this in those surprise things. Have you ever had anybody walk into a title company and go, "Oh man, I'm so excited! I just went down to Gallery Furniture and bought a bunch of new furniture on." But you know what? It's not really my credit because they said I don't have to pay for it for a year.
Exactly right. Yeah, I've got that 12-month no interest plan.
Yeah, so that didn't hit my credit. We're good.
So I should be
No
good
worries.
for it, right? I've got no payments for a year. Yeah, and
that doesn't affect that didn't affect my bills. You said don't get any new expenses,
What you don't know
right?
can hurt you.
What you don't know can hurt you. And that's this is a very good segue into our rapid fire round that we normally do right there, which is what you don't know can hurt you is when you're doing a mortgage. The one thing from the moment you decide to go ahead and engage with your realtor, with a new home agent, et cetera, and you get your financing in place, do not do anything associated with purchasing or getting credit on anything new. That means don't go out there and look, and you can go out there and look and see if you want to. You just can't do anything associated with opening up credit. Don't go buy a new car. Don't go trade in a new car. Don't go and sign a new contract.
Don't get married or divorced.
Don't get married or divorced. Don't switch jobs. Exactly. Don't switch jobs, we tell everybody. And also, don't go out there and get excited about the appliances and or the furniture that you want to put in that new home.
Unless it's included.
Unless it's included. That is correct.
And let me just say also, I don't think we gave our number out, but if you'd like more information on OneGuard, our website is oneguardhomewarranty.com. Our number is 888-896-0014. That's 888-896-0014. And Natasha has another thing to tell you. If you're listening and you're a realtor, title company, or if you're anybody, really.
And you don't have any of our brochures in your office and would like a short presentation about OneGuard, please give us a call. And also, I wanted to just do a real quick segue on Angie's List. We talked about that earlier. OneGuard is ranked highest on Angie's List. We have the highest rating amongst all home warranty companies. And I just wanted to put that out there so that you guys would have that information.
You know, and you were the highest ranked within the Real Estate Rat Pack list as well.
That's
You're
right.
number one.
That's
You're
right.
number one.
You know,
Yes.
number one. Let me
Number
tell you,
one
there's
on the list.
nothing higher
Yes.
than being ranked here on this show. Let me tell you. So congratulations.
Yes. Unfortunately, when we come out to do a presentation, it's not a Real Estate Rat Pack presentation. It'll just be
man,
Bill,
I've heard-
myself, or Sandra.
Wow.
But we would love to bring the guys with us.
But I did notice on Bill's card he says, "As heard on the Real Estate Rat Pack show now."
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I'm at least he's putting that word out there. Now, Karen, when you're working with people, and what we've been talking about, what you don't know can't hurt you. What are some of the other things you're seeing out there that people really don't know, and you have to educate them on that are big issues?
Well, probably the most obvious that's going on right now in the market is the frenzy, this incredible frenzy that we have here in Houston. And if you're bidding on a home and you're not using a realtor that knows what's going on out there, you're at a real loss. We're seeing multiple, sometimes 10, 20 offers per home. And if the realtor has not done her homework and does not know the
Or
comps,
his, folks.
comps need to be current even within the last month. The last 3 months, we have seen them go up. Pricing is going up per month now. $27,000 over the asking price on the last $800,000 negotiation I saw. In our office, we're hearing reports that one just came in $115,000 over the asking price.
Wow.
So please call me. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Karen White, 713-240-0727.
Boy, she's got the hang of this show, doesn't she?
Yeah. Karen, you have a great
Wow.
radio voice. Is this your first time on
Jason,
the radio?
jump in. We've got 1 minute. We're down to the wire here. Give us your parting quick round. What you don't know can hurt you, and how we can reach you.
You know, if you do not reevaluate your insurance on a yearly basis, you're leaving money on the table. You know, at the end of the day, if you are not reviewing and something happens, when it will happen, because typically there's always going to be a claim within your lifespan, be able to make sure that you know exactly how to handle it, what is covered, what is not covered, and then what are your alternatives. I mean, at the end of the day, there are things that the insurance policies do not cover. So make sure you give us a call. Our office is based on a principle. It's very simple. A friend will always be there for a friend, an acquaintance you can never count on. And I want to be your friend. So within that, call our office at 713-270-0073.
You know, that is great. Great show as always. We always like ending everything. We had everybody in the house. Go out to the realestateratpack.com. Look us up. Until next week, have a great weekend.
We got your 9 steps in.
And you've been listening to the Real Estate Rat Pack. The question is, who's Frank, who's Sammy, who's Dean, and who's the other guy?
Chris is Frank,
I'm
he's
Dean.
Dean, and I'm Sammy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So tune in to the really big show every Saturday at 9 a.m. right here on 100.7 The Word, KKHT.